This is my Rainbowfish aquarium, and today it's maintenance day and it needs a lot of work doing on it. So let's do it. Hi, I'm Russ and welcome back to my channel with another video. So today I'm going to start by getting the glass nice and clean, and then I'm going to start trimming some plants. I'm going to show you how I trim the Lotus Tiger Lilly to keep that looking as beautiful as what it does, and I will be trimming some of the other plants in the aquarium too. I do have a new plant to put into this aquarium today. It's just floating at the top there at the moment, so that means I will have to remove a plant that's already in here, but I will just have to check something out first before I do that. So once all that's done, we'll finish off with a water change, and water changes are slightly different from what you'd expect from a normal aquarium where rainbow fish are concerned. Okay, so starts fluval aroma, so the actual top comes off completely. Okay, so I have thoroughly washed my hands and rinsed them really well before I put them into the aquarium. I use a non-stick scouring pad for my glass. It doesn't scratch the glass, and I just find scrapers that you buy, no matter what they are, don't really seem to work that great. Or maybe it's just me, but I do prefer a non-stick scouring pad. Normally I would be extracting water as I do the glass, but because I'm going to do some planting, it will just disturb the substrate, so I'll leave the water change till later on, which are slightly different as I said earlier. Okay, so I think first of all we will take a look at trimming back the Lotus Tiger Lilly. I know it looks great at the moment, but what I'm going to do today with the Lotus is these larger leaves here, these 3 or 4, I'm going to remove them from the plant, and that'll give the bottom leaves chance to grow and give them some light. And as you can see, they are quite green there, but they'll soon go red when I remove those larger leaves. So once you've selected which lily you're going to take, just give it a quick slight tug so you know which stalk you are trimming off. Then you want to get right down as near to the bulb as possible to remove that. If you trim it up the stalk and not near the bulb, the stalk will rot, and that gives a good chance that that rot will enter the bulb and kill the plant. So if you trim the stalk as close to the bulb as you possibly can get, it limits the chance of you killing the entire bulb, which is obviously not what you want. That one, this was one bulb that came in here, and now in this tank it grows from 2 different points. It has produced a sister bulb, which you can actually remove and replant elsewhere, but I've kept it there so the plant is a little bit bigger and a lot bushier. Now, as you can see, I don't know if you can see, let me have a look. Ooh, maybe. Okay, so just here is a new lily forming. Now that's quite tightly closed up, so I'll just have to keep an eye on that, because I think the bulb's going to try and send a runner up to the surface, if the runner gets to the surface, then the plant will just go weedy, and because it's taking CO2 out of the air. So if that gets to where I've trimmed the larger point away, then I will remove it before it hits the surface. And that is how you keep a Lotus Tiger Lily looking bushy, and also how you keep it thriving. The next I'm going to do is a Java Fern. And what I like to do with Java Fern is just get my fingers in there, just wave them about a bit, and what that does is just gets rid of any detritus that's settled in there, any fish poop that's settled in there. Just keeps it nice and clear. As you can see, it just brings out quite a lot of dirt. And then leaves like this, I then just, if the plant will let me, I do remove them. Just the yellowing leaves. And Java Fern will produce little plantlets like that. And what I tend to do with those is go into the middle of the plant and let it settle in there. And that makes it even bushier. And you can also cultivate them in another tank somewhere and maybe sell them onto your local fish store. I have done a Java Fern care video, and I'll post a link at the top of this. Let's just get out all those dead leaves. Just how I keep it looking nice and vibrant, nice and healthy. As you can see there, more of the little plantlets. And today I'll just replant them. I do have a floating tub with plants in at the moment, but that is absolutely rammed out at the moment with Anubias that I took out of my CO2 tank build yesterday, which the video will be coming onto the channel in a few weeks. Just going to let it grow in, and then I can get some better footage of it once it's all grown out. I do see a lot of people asking about the trimming of stem plants, so I will show you on this rotala. So this needs trimming back. What you've got to remember is don't be scared when you're trimming your plants. So where the leaf grows out of the stalk, you've got to trim just above where a leaf comes out of a stalk. And then what that does is give you enough stalk then to replant the stem. Okay, so this one, obviously if I was replanting this into this tank now, I'd probably just remove a couple of those leaves just to give yourself a bit of planting stalk, and that will reroot and grow another plant. Or be another plant. And where you trimmed it off the original, 2 stems will now grow from that point, which produces a thicker plant and obviously more plants when you trim them. So as I say, go down the stalk to the leaf, just above the leaf, trim. Don't be scared. As you can see on this one, actually, I'll show you on this one. This is one I've trimmed previously. As hopefully you can see there, that is now 2 stalks. So I must have trimmed that there previously, and then 2 stalks have grown from that. Now if I trim that down there, that's going to be an even bushier plant to be regrown. But at the moment, I have no room for any plants, so this will go into my plant tub with all the rest, and next time I go to my LFS, then I will take these plants with me and I will either swap them out for fish or food. So next plant today will be this, the Brazilian pennywort. Now, it's a bit like a lily really, and you can either grow it from the substrate or you can use it as a floating plant, and I've used it as both. Currently, it grows out of the substrate, but I thought I'd removed all this plant from the aquarium, and I obviously hadn't, and what it did was weave itself through the Anubias that I have growing in here, and it looks awesome. So I've kept it, and now I just trim it back so the Anubias can still get some light, but with the dark leaves of the Anubias and the lighter green leaves of the pennywort, you get a really, really nice effect. So now I'm going to take out this crypt and I'm going to replace that with Echiodorus Rennie, I think it's called, or pronounced, not quite sure. But I have just checked round here because I do have a pair of cribs that tend to nest around here quite often. So I've just made sure that there's no eggs or fry. If there was anything like that, obviously I wouldn't be doing this today. But there isn't, so we're all good. We're all good. He won't love me for destroying his little home that he's built there, but he didn't think about me when he was building it, did he? So, and I will add, when he dug his cave, he didn't even ask for permission, he just did it. And then it's just a case of planting in the new plant, which I have brought out of my CO2 tank, like I say. And before you know it, I did trim the roots to this as well, guys. I have trimmed the roots on the Echiodorus, just to make it easier to plant. You can do that, it does not affect the plant, it won't harm the plant in any way. And now that water is all murky, we'll start with this water change. Now, water changes are slightly different on a Rainbowfish aquarium as what they are on a normal community aquarium. Rainbowfish actually thrive on large water changes because in their natural habitat they are used to having fresh water running through daily. So I tend to do 30 to 40% water changes on this aquarium weekly. A normal community aquarium, you'd be looking at 10% weekly or 20% fortnightly. But with the work that I've done on here today, on a normal community aquarium, I'd be looking at doing more 20 to 30% that day. When you put water back in, just add it really slowly so the temperature change of the water doesn't affect the fish. Some fish actually thrive on it. Rainbowfish do like a cold water change. It will induce spawning, as it will with the Corydoras, and a few other species do enjoy that large water change as well. I've recently been asked on the Facebook group Fish Keeping in the UK about gravel vacuum. Now, as you'll see, I don't gravel vac, and there is a reason for that. Live plants will feed on the fish poop that breaks down in your substrate. So if you gravel vac, you're kind of depriving your plants of that food. If you've got plastic plants, then yeah, gravel vac away. But if you have live plants living in your aquarium, don't steal their lifeline. Before I start adding water now, I will dose with some dechlorinator. I then add a dose of beneficial bacteria. I give a squirt or the daily dose of plant fertiliser, and I also add a dose of liquid CO2, which I know you can't get liquid CO2. It's an algaecide. And what that does is helps prevent algae growth. Algae will take the CO2 out of the water, so if algae's not growing, it leaves more natural CO2 in the water for your plants to feed on. Once all that's in there, oh, actually, I do add a GH and KH buffer as well, because round here, my water tests at 0 KH, 0 GH. So I add a little bit of buffer each week. So that is maintenance complete. The Tiger Lily will look a little bit flat for a couple of days, but once the new lilies grow into that space and they all start turning beautifully red, that plant won't have looked any better. The Java Fern's looking great, and those new little plantlets that I've placed into the middle, they'll take off and they'll grow and flourish, and it'll look even thicker than what it does now. But I haven't just finished this tank. I've also done today the maintenance on my 300 litre rimless aquarium. Now that has always caused me problems with water loss. That used to lose 12 pints of water a day, but I didn't want to lose the rimless effect and put a lid on there. So I came up with a different technique. Now I lose no water. And if you want to know how I did that, then watch this video next.